Yo, what's up? This is Eric from Viva La Mort. I'm here in Sakai, Japan. About to show you guys a little interview I did with my homie Ghettosocks and DK, the producer, two Canadian artists. Just got a new album out called Listen to the Masters. It's full of really cool features, solid production, nice rhymes. If you like hip-hop music and you haven't heard it yet, you should. And if you like watching dudes shoot the shit via Zoom, Canada and Japan, you should watch this interview. So you should look at my grandma.
Hey. Let's shake and bacon.
There's like a bunch of college kids out here rocking out. Coffee?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Coffee, beer. Yep.
Japanese IPA.
There you go. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh. There is Sex Man.
He's the sex man, isn't he?
That's what they call him.
Seriously, who's they?
Everybody.
Hey, Socks called you sex man. Talking, let me see if you pop up on my screen. Make sure.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Sex man. All right, he's here. Okay, all right. So I never really do interviews, but I like talking and I like asking questions and I like you guys. So what I'm gonna have you do first is just introduce yourselves. Socks.
Hi, I'm Ghettosocks. I make music and visual art and all types of weird stuff, and like to rap and eat food.
It's a good thing. All right. DK, please give you a little basic introduction on yourself.
Beat maker, producer. Like to make beats. I also like to eat food as well. Probably not as much as him, but you know, I do definitely like to eat food. Yeah.
Always copying me.
Yeah, always copy. Trendsetter.
I probably like
That's
to eat food as much as he likes to eat food, but not as much food as he likes to eat.
Yeah,
I've
that's accurate.
I've been slimming down the portions a little bit, you know, spreading it out, eating more over a longer period of time. That's growth. It's all about growth.
Yeah, one way or another.
Yeah, one way or another, it's happening.
So how did you guys meet? How did the project come together? What is the project? Tell me about it in your own words, however you guys want to do it.
Yeah, so I moved to Halifax, I think in 2014, and Socks always used to do local shows. So anyways, I just started going out and eventually, you know, we kind of connected that way. I think in 2018 or 19, we did Reflections and then Coal Trains of the Movement, which features Timbuktu and our man Aquaculture. So then that went over well. So then we pressed up a 7-inch, and then we kind of just took it from there. And that was just the start of the project.
And Reflections is the song, the first track on the album?
Yeah, so originally it was supposed to be for my solo album, Soul Expressions, that came out in 2019, like a compilation with rappers. But what happened was we ended up changing the beat and just putting on there and just using that as, say, the remix. So, and we kept the original for this project just because we liked it.
That's pretty much accurate, I'd say, 100%.
So where did you come from before then, Sex Man?
St. John's, Newfoundland, or just outside St. John's. A community called Torbay, which is, if you know where the airport is in St. John's, is basically just on back of that.
I have no clue. So
okay, yeah.
The only place I've been in Canada is BC. So
BC, okay.
I mean, yeah, like before I met Socks which maybe 7 years ago, I didn't really know that Canadian rap existed. I mean, it's not like I thought, oh, there's no rap in Canada, but for me, it was Maestro Fresh West. That was it. Like, that was the Canadian rapper. And then when I met Socks and Jeff Speck and John Deck in whenever it was 7, 8 years ago, I have a new favorite Canadian rapper. So, kind of interesting.
But where are you from originally? You're from from the States. Where in the States?
Reno, Nevada. So right next to California, Reno. Yeah.
Reno, yeah.
Grew up there, moved to Seattle when I was 21. And now I've been in Osaka since 2008, like 14 years now.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
Love Osaka.
Yeah, can't wait for you to come back. I hope you can come too, do some kind of tour, and I think they're gonna open up to foreign tourists starting next month, is what I heard. So,
Oh, word.
so maybe it's coming.
Yeah. Word.
So back to the album. So your guys' process, like how does it work? What's the first thing? Is there some kind of beat first? Do you write lyrics first? Does it depend on the feeling? Like tell me how you guys made it, because for me, I've listened to the album probably 5 or 6 times now, and I'm a pretty critical dude, I think, and I can't find a bad song on the album. Personally, I like all of them. It's cool. I enjoy listening to it, and the features are good. It's not. It's cool because there's some pretty big names, which is awesome to me. But it's not. It doesn't feel like you're trying really hard to fill out the album with big names. Like it works regardless. So I'm really curious how it works. How did you put it together?
Basically, like DK said earlier, he would we did those 2 first joints that ended up being a 7-inch, and so like he was reaching out to me and like sending me beats, and out of the selections that he would send, I would take and start to work on them like that, and then we would like sort of reconvene and discuss, who would be a good feature, like who would complement the song. And yeah, like the record is feature heavy, but I don't know, kind of just, it felt like, there was a necessity to share the light with a lot of people, share the spotlight with a lot of people, and give a variety of sounds. So there's only 2 joints that are like just solo, DK and I on the tracks. That's a point that you made earlier.
When he send you the beats, are they basically finished products at that point, or are they just kind of beat sketches still?
Yeah, like there's sort of sketches, and then like once we sort of have a theme and the track's rolling, then he goes back in on it and he sort of starts fleshing out the arrangement, adding production. There's multiple musicians that you get to do like session playing and bring in those elements and like lace that in on the track and give it some more depth and musicality where it needed it. So I'm sort of that would have been something that DK could have spoke on better, but
you can elaborate on it now.
As
far as live instrumentation goes, like how much of that's on there?
I think almost every track has like some element. I think every track actually has a sample in it, but I kind of just use that as a starting point. And like, I guess when I started making beats 10 years ago, like that's all I wanted, but now I kind of want more. So I can play the keys and okay myself. So I have added some things, and other people who are better than that at me, I've gotten as well. Like for example, on Baggages, which is the last track on the album, we have there's a big band saxophone player from Halifax named James Shaw. So he did all the live sax arrangements on that. So I'm just using that as an example. So we're happy with the way that turned out for sure. Like it doesn't feel forced, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Because it's easy, like with live musicians, like that don't know hip hop, to like kind of go overboard. But I find my ear at this point is pretty good, so I'm really good at like just chopping or just telling exactly what I want, and then picking the best pieces and to incorporate. The other thing too that I just want to elaborate upon what Socks had said regarding the features. Like we had everything done, then we kind of got the features. That's why I think it flows so well. Not the opposite. We didn't like say, oh, let's call OC from DITC and get him on this. It's like we had the beat and we're just like, okay, this is who would sound good. We have a connection, and then we just took it from there.
So to stay on that path, then, how did you get the features? Did you do that yourself? Who made the calls?
I think I made most of the calls, but Socks did some too.
Yeah. DK was sort of, like I said, he's quarterbacking. He's quarterbacking the project for the most part. There was a few cats I would even just connect, some of the dots, put people in contact with DK and then let them handle it. And I just felt like sometimes it's easier just to have somebody on point doing that thing, as opposed to having like multiple people being like, oh well, who are you talking to, you know, like who are we waiting back from, oh that was me, right? You know, it gets confusing. So
that's the classic too many cooks in the kitchen thing.
Yeah, too many cooks. Yeah, exactly. So but it worked out, and yeah, I've got a lot of cool features on there, and yeah, and I mean, like DK, you know, has been able to really get some of his beats out to some of these artists. You know, like the relationship's been like, what's his Ella? Was it? What is it when there's a mutual exchange? You know what I mean? Like, I forget what the expression is. I want to say it's not pro bono. It's not. I forget what it is. Anyways, it's too early again. Like I'm saying, the coffee here.
I mean, something like symbiotic, like that kind of thing, like mutually beneficial, or
Yeah, mutually beneficial. Exactly.
Yeah. There was something Latin I was trying to get at, but again, too early for that.
It might come later.
That department of my brain's not open yet. So it doesn't open till 11. So, yeah.
To continue that, I think as far as the continuity of the album, another big part of it for me is that it's all produced by one person, which makes it doesn't really matter as much how many features are on there if the vibe doesn't really change, right? Which is, and I don't mean that in a boring ass way, like it feels like an album. And I think if there's too many features on an album or too many producers at the same time, there's too many vibes coming off that then it starts to get frantic, or people don't really know what they're doing. So I think that's a big key in this. Like the production holds it all together, and your voice on there is a consistent thing as well, and it's
a thread. Yeah.
And nothing feels forced to me, which I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely the one producer thing is cool. But I mean, like, also got to send a shout out quickly to Mocha Only, who collaborated with DK on the track All In with OC, and also Mocha Only rapping. That was like the only sort of production collaboration on the record where.
What did he do?
What was the prep?
Right? Yeah, so like on the track, if you look at the credits, like it says production by Mocha Only and DK. So essentially it just started out with me finding the sample, chopping, and then sending it to him, because that just kind of goes to your point about consistency and continuity. Because if we just had to reach out to Mocha for a beat, like it may have just sounded completely different than like everything else on the album, but like where everything else is like really like jazzy. I mean, I pick the sample as a starting point. It just ensures that there's more consistency to the sound, even though the beat does sound different, because he definitely did his thing there.
DK did like chop the initial sample and then sent it over to Moke, and then Moke put his drums on it, you know what I mean? And then kick and, a little arrangement, then kicked it back to DK. DK had some synths and some, flutes, some instrumentation on there, so it's sort of this game of ping pong back and forth. And then that's why you get like why it sounds consistent in the album, but it also has a little bit of that like Mocha flair on there, which at the same time is, I mean, it's a little Mocha cameo thing, production on the album, but it fits in the album, like you said. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that song really resonates with people. Just like I've gotten a lot of feedback saying that that's resonating with people, just because it just has a really different vibe to it. And on top of that, like when would you ever hear Socks, Mocha, and OC on a track? It's like several people have said to me, they've never expected to hear that. So that was cool.
No, you never would guess that, right? Guess who's going to feature on this? And no one would think that.
Yeah.
But it works,
Yeah, it works great. I dig it. I like the video too. I chatting with Socks just briefly about it. I like that it's just chill and it's super hip hop, right? Just painting graffiti and trains flowing by. Like that, it's cool to see the same trains in that part of where you live, and that I see crossing through, in the west of the States as well.
Yeah,
isn't it a pretty cool vibe,
Yeah, I mean, part of it was just a challenge of like, we want to have some visuals for this record, but we can't do the traditional sort of all the rappers rapping into the camera thing because that's my what you want, because half the artists are in the States or wherever they've ended up in the world, right? Like the same thing that we're kind of talking about eventually us doing the video for our joint. You know, how do we do that? So shout outs to John Walsh, who aka John Wum, who came and did his thing, like beautiful camera work and editing. He's got a beautiful eye. He just made that thing happen. We just said, oh, we're gonna paint something. Just walked up to the wall, started painting something, and he made a video. So it matched the vibe of the song pretty well. So I was happy with that.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to add just on that is that you just mentioned how the video it's simple and it works and it's very hip hop. I think that like is really consistent with the track as well. It's like everyone these days is just trying to reinvent the wheel. It's like it just sounds good. The beat's good, the rhymes are good, the video is good. Like
Yeah.
To quote Fonte, what else do you want?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that also, like, just on the note, sort of, while we're talking about like music videos in general, it's like music. I think the music videos, the purpose of them is to, accentuate the music, right? It's like sometimes a lot of music videos, and like I've done it in the past too, just like taking it so so far, so like where the music becomes secondary because there's so much fucking like.
What video is that?
Any of them, any of them, but yeah, like it can distract from the music in a lot of ways. So I don't know. Maybe this is just some sort of cognitive dissonance. Me, trying to rationalize why we did a very simple video because we couldn't access, Moke and OC, but
sure.
But it is what it is, and it's happy.
You work with what you have, right? That's pretty how life goes. So
you gotta, you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah. What was the song, the first sample that you used to start that song, the All In?
it was like a big band type of thing, and it had just like a horn and some guitar and a bunch of things. So it was really just like one of those ones where I really had to go in and chop just to make it make sense.
Generally, when you start beats, do you start with something like that? It's like something just catches you. It's generally a guitar or some kind of sound or whatever. Like that's where you start usually.
Yeah, like when I was younger, I think I definitely used to force ideas, but now I just listen, and if I like it, I just take it and I try to build an idea either in my head and then translate it to the drum machine. Literally, that's all I do. I just listen for sounds I like and then try to rearrange.
What kind of drum machine are you using? What's your production? What's your machinery like?
I actually have a machine studio by Native Instruments. If I use that if I really want to go in and chop a sample. Otherwise, like everything I do is right in Logic Pro.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, got the Techniques 1200 turntable. That's essential for sampling. And I also have a Yamaha keyboard.
So how did you first start making beats? You said you started making beats like 10 years ago.
Yeah, maybe a little bit earlier than that, maybe 12 years ago then.
Okay.
I was in university. I think I started, I had FL Studio, or I started on FL Studio, but the drums and like everything in the program, it was like, just felt really stiff to me.
Sure.
And I don't know, I guess I didn't, well, now I could probably I'm good enough, I think, where I can make any beat and any DAW sound like pretty good, but at the time I just didn't really like the clicking thing, so I ended up getting an MPC from there.
Oh, cool.
Because I definitely like the MPC pad and workflow. It was a 2000 XL, and the best thing about that was that even if you could just adjust the swing, and essentially you could just like program drums and completely quantize and add the swing, and it would just sound good, which I loved. But yeah, it's the ear, not the gear. I mean, at this point, I can make anything, I think, sound pretty good on any DAW.
I think music's feeling. I've been drumming since I was 18 and make music and fuck around and do whatever, basically. And I have a great deal of respect for people who are true musicians and can read and all the music and write these things in these ways that I can't really fathom. But when it comes down to it, you can feel it, right? If it sounds like how you want it to feel, then it's fine. And I think that's pretty cool. So what inspired you to make beats? Like what kind of music were you listening to that made you feel like, oh, I want to do this? Or was it just a natural progression?
I think I heard the album Illmatic, and I think I may have heard like Reasonable Doubt and The Infamous and like some of those like classic albums around that time. And it really inspired me and pushed me that way, I would say.
The first time you heard Illmatic was about that, like 12 years ago? Or?
Yeah, I would say. Maybe a little bit earlier, but I didn't really appreciate it, I guess, till that time, or
Sure.
didn't really push me to the point of wanting to make beats till that time frame, I'd say.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is kind of a little offshoot, but you guys, there's this channel on YouTube that I found randomly recently. It's this father and son, and they like the son's probably early 20s, and I think the dad's like my age, somewhere in Canada, and they do these like reactions to hip hop stuff. Like the first one I saw was this dad's reaction the first time listening to Eric B and Rakim, Paid in Full, and I was like, it just kind of it was really engaging in some way because like the father and son dynamic was really cool. But it's like the dad had never heard these things ever, and it was like
Wow.
really interesting to watch him like analyze it and try to figure out the lyrics, and he really listened deeply. And they just did the whole Illmatic album reaction the other day. And it was so strange in some way to watch this kid who he's probably about the same age that I was when Illmatic came out when I first heard it, like in '95, right? And then the dad's like my age now, but it's the first time he heard it, and it's just kind of trips me out.
Some Freaky Friday shit.
Yeah, it's interesting. You might dig it though.
Yeah. Well, usually you just hear about, or what I see out there is like those videos where it's folks our age showing the kids the joints and seeing how they react. You know what I mean? So it's interesting to see that flip there.
Yeah.
Like how do you live for 40 years and not hear Rakim? You know?
I'm wondering what part of Canada
You're fucking me up.
It was trippy.
What rock? Yeah, you been under?
Swing that over to you then, Socks. Like, how, when did you start getting into writing your own rhymes?
Probably like near the end of my high school career, started like actually writing stuff. I say high school career.
Was waiting for you to elaborate.
Yeah, no. So I started writing, but it was always like kind of got into freestyling and making beats on a very like amateur fun. I mean, I'm not claiming to have changed that much, but at the time, very amateur level, like hobbyist level, dabbling using like, was it Sound Studio or Wave Studio for like Windows 4.0. That was my machine. That was my studio when I started playing around making beats, and writing riffs. Huh?
Around
Sorry?
what was that?
What year was that?
Around, yeah.
Around, that's probably around 98, I guess. I don't know. I'd have to check and see what. I'd have to check and see, but yeah, like mid late 90s, I'd say.
All right.
A whole era ago, whole eons ago. But anyways, yeah, and that's how it started. And then just when I moved out to Halifax in the early 2000s and going to art school, I was just like, I got more into making music, like getting a little bit more serious with it. And like figuring out the tricks like what was necessary to make an album that sounded proper. You know what I mean? Like mixing and mastering, like sort of the less pretty parts of making music. You know, sort of behind the scenes stuff.
Is like the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, if you're just having fun with it, you know what I mean?
Sure.
You just record it in your phone and just check this out, send it out to the world. But yeah. Yeah, if you want to really take it seriously.
It's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that what's in there. But mixing is almost, I would say, I would put it over mastering in some way. Because if you have
totally.
It doesn't matter what you're going to do with the mastering.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Totally.
Who did the mixing and mastering on your album? The masters. Who mastered the masters?
DJ Uncle Fester mixed it.
Oh, sweet.
And mastering digitally was by Jake Palumbo. And for vinyl, it was by Tom Rogers.
Oh, it's different for...
Yeah, it's different for digital and vinyl. Yeah, the mastering for vinyl is a little bit different than mastering for digital.
What was different about it?
Well, I'm just told it's a different process, yeah.
Yeah, there's different science behind the frequencies that are going to be represented in an analog,
Sure.
realm. So there's just totally different approach to mastering for vinyl. I mean, like in terms of headspace and all this stuff. I don't know. talk to Fester about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's cool. That's a whole other thing, huh?
Yeah, herds of science.
They really are scientists. I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah,
So,
but it can definitely put a nice, like, it can bring out like a sparkle or like a presence on the record that is hard to replicate. Like if you have a good mix and then a good master, it makes the music sound a little bit surreal and crazy. So, my opinion. Yeah.
And Fester, he did all the cuts as well. Is that on the whole album?
He did, yeah.
Good. They're good.
Yeah.
It's all solid.
Yeah.
As far as people who made the album happen, who supported you? I saw Eat What You Kill. Is that John Deck's thing? What is that, Socks?
That's me and John Deck's thing. Here's a little plug there. Yeah. So that's our thing. We're just doing like real short runs of printed stuff. Actually, we got to talk to you. Like, your name was being kicked around. Obviously, we want to do some stuff, like collaborative stuff with you, because, you know, shout out to Viva Lamort. your thing, you know, which is inspo, big time inspo. You know, what you're doing there, the clothing and the printing and the shop and everything is really dope. But yeah, so that's me and John Deck's little thing. So that's kind of something that we've been working on. Shout out to John. He's out in Ottawa.
He's had a show tonight or last night there. Like he's performed or something.
Yeah, he's DJing for a young guy from, I think he's from Gatineau, if I don't want to get it wrong, but a dope young guy, Mind Flip, and he's an MC. And so John's rocking with him, like they're doing stuff. I think they're gonna go on some crazy tour or something. I don't know what's happening. I'm sure you'll see it. Like, as soon now that I've said it, it's gonna like pop up everywhere. But yeah, so that's what he's doing. Yeah, so we've just been doing that. The clothing thing, and it's kind of a co-presenter for the record, and just sort of get the brand out there a little bit. And then you know, Black Buffalo Records, they pressed up the record and they've been taking care of it, and, you know, the orders and stuff like that. They've been really good about helping us out with that. And then Fat Beats, we were able to get a distribution deal, Fat Beats,
great,
which is cool. And then the other one was Jet Set Records out in Japan. They're taking a chunk of records too. Hence, yeah.
What's the Japanese version? What's going to be different?
So the Japanese version is like different art on the jacket, like 100% unique art based on the same sort of, you know, aesthetic. A little crazier. You can see it online if you go check out the Black Buffalo Records. You can see the different covers. Also come with like Obi strip, and all the text is translated to Japanese. And we had my shout out to my friend Ami, who actually did the translation. It wasn't some Google, you know, translate shit. Yeah. It was an actual process of getting it translated proper.
Lyrics?
You know? Yeah. We didn't do the lyric, but we didn't do lyrics in there, but the labels on there, on the records, and then the Obi strip, it's all in Japanese. So yeah.
Good. Yeah, lyrics is basically impossible to translate to Japanese because it won't rhyme. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would be curious. Yeah.
It doesn't work, man. Like, I've had people ask me that here, like, I like that, but what the fuck are you saying? Like, can you change it to Japanese? Like, nope. You can't.
Yeah.
Like, it won't work.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I feel like maybe in a few, like, I don't know, if you were like ultra, I don't know, familiar and talented, you know, like bilingual in that sense, and like as good a rapper in English as in Japanese as English, then maybe you could synthesize the lyrics into a translation.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Because I think about that sometimes just when I'm listening to other languages. You know what I mean? Or if I know a little bit of French, a little bit of Spanish. Yeah. And I try to think about like rhyming in those languages or translating those. And I'm like, it's not that dissimilar from just writing rhymes in general, right? If you're trying to translate, it's like you're just like writing a new rhyme and the constraints are there, right? Exactly. So I don't it's not easy.
Like interpretation of something.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So DK, you always ask people like, what's your favorite track? Like, what's your favorite track on the album? So what's your favorite track on the album, DK?
I have two. All In and Chicken Chop, just
Why?
because they're so different. Well, All In is very smooth and feels like very polished, and Chicken Chop is the opposite. It's way more aggressive for the album. I think I just like the contrast. And I can't choose one, so I'll go with those two.
Right? That's the Busta, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Chicken. All right, cool.
That was Socks' idea, which is great.
Good idea. How about you, Socks? You have a favorite song on the album?
I don't know. Like, I like the way that All In sounds. I like the way that Be a Mango came about. And shout outs to Phoenix Pagliacci and for holding it down as always, and Lavender also for jumping on the track.
He crushed that shit. She's good at that.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's funny. It's not the same vibe at all, but it reminded me somewhat of Biddy's in the BK Lounge. Somehow, like the way that she was talking, like kind of loose and like, it's cool. And the first time I heard it, I didn't dislike it, but I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I listened to it a couple more times, like, oh, that's fucking cool. Like, and I like the bass on, like, just kind of a cool.
Yeah, it's got kind of a reggae vibe to the bass line.
It just had like kind of a bounce to it.
Yeah, but like the process of that track, for instance, like DK sent in the beat package, one of the tracks was titled "Be a Man," a working title, right, for that track. And so in the process of me like scrolling through my lists and all this, and at one time I glimpsed at it and I just thought "Be a Mango." Did I read a mango? No, mango. And then I just thought of the idea of like, oh, being a mango, and like, what would it be like to be a mango? What is a mango? It's like sweet on the inside, but tough on the outside. And then playing with that, now coming back to the be a man, be a mango, the relationship of what that means. And then that was the impetus, and it spun out from there, talking about like gender identity and, the patriarchy and whatnot. So it was I just kind of liked how that unfolded. It was kind of a kismet thing.
Yeah, it was fun because when he came back to me with the concept, I went back to the original record, and it's a line that we used for the intro, where in the sample it says, if you can do all these things, you're sure enough her type. So I threw that at the beginning, and I thought it worked well.
Okay, I think I just had a couple more questions for you guys. Thinking about inspiration first. I already talked about why you started doing what you were doing, but who, you as an MC, as a rapper, performer, artist, whatever, like who inspires you? Who makes you want to keep doing it, or makes you feel like, oh man, I fucking suck, or whatever? Like, who are artists that you think are great in graffiti, rap, whatever?
I'm a fan of a lot of different artists. I like artists that can do different things too. I'm a fan of like Ramal Z, and like people that can create their own worlds. 6ix9ine is up there also in terms of, an artist that paints and raps and produces. Like I want to do a lot of different things, and I like what I'm inspired by seeing other cats do a lot of different things. 6ix9ine's from Truro originally, I believe. And Buck 65's from Mount Uniacke. Anyways, they had a group called Sebatones, and 6ix9ine also, like he makes beats. He's he writes graffiti, fucking with paint trains, and does graphic design and all types of stuff. So yeah, it's like there's a lot of similarities there. Like Madlib is another example, somebody who's just really creative and awesome, and I don't know, does different stuff musically. I don't know. There's too much out there, and in terms of me, like I don't know. Like my own mind is always telling me like that I suck, or that I need to do that. That's awesome. Do that. So I'm also, my brain is also an influence, and under the influence as well sometimes. So
well, that's a good answer. It's DK.
Yeah, I'll just more so speak to other beat makers and producers and that type of thing, just because there's so many names. So I guess I'll just go back to, some of the pioneers like DJ Premier, Pete Rock, DITC, and even more modern people like Just Blaze, like extremely talented. Like I don't know if you've ever like tried to remake a Just Blaze beat, but like there's a lot more going on than what meets the ear. So
Sure.
shout out to him for that. And even like more modern, like new age. I'd say the Count. I don't know if you've seen like his videos and stuff. He's crazy. Producer from beat maker, producer from Toronto. He like puts these reels up on like Instagram and YouTube and Twitter, and he'll just like record himself like making a beat, and he'll like break out all these like African instruments, and yeah, he's insane.
That's cool. Back to the album then. You guys as a team then, where do you see it going? What's your plan from this point?
Well, I don't know. We don't really have tons of plans yet. We got like a few things kind of around. Just trying to get this record out. Basically, it's been at the forefront of our on our plates right now, you know. But yeah, no, like who knows? Do another record. I don't know. DK's already like he's been sending me beats, and he's been working on, you know, he's been working on the next project. I don't know what that looks like for him. We got all types of stuff like going on in the background, so I don't know. Nothing solid.
More support of this one. Just keep going, move on to the next.
Yeah, I think we'd like to roll this one out, or just let this ride for a little bit, because we do think it's a special project, and not everyone has heard it yet. So we're just trying to ride the momentum from this a little bit, and then on to the next thing. Like Socks mentioned, work on a follow up, but that would definitely be, I would say, next year before anything like that would be announced.
I mean, I feel like it's something worth pushing, and I mean, obviously, like I said, I never interviewed anybody before, and I was like, it was worth it to whatever it is. Like whether I have some people over here in Japan who've never heard of you who learn about you, or I mean, whatever it is. Like I just felt like it was worth talking about, and I was genuinely curious about how it happened and how you guys put it together. But yeah, I feel like if you did tour in support of the album or played shows, like how would that go down? How would you perform? Would you be on stage, or would you be just chilling in the back? Would there be a DJ? Like how would that work?
Yeah, we haven't really done a live show, the two of us yet. Not at all yet. But like, this is a good question. Go ahead and answer.
I would assume I would DJ.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, that's something that like that. It's so like, I don't know. The way that things have played out, you know, just like it's taken a long time for this record to come out, and also the backdrop of it just not being able to like do any shows or anything, sort of just, you know, suspended the project in this like sort of like stasis, you know what I mean? Like this cryo sleep or whatever, you know. And you know what normally would happen, I'd find, is like when you're working on something and you start to, you know, generally there's like show offers are coming in, and then you start to because you're working on it at the same time as all these shows going on, you bring that material to the live show. You develop the live show back and forth from the studio to the live show, but this didn't happen that way. So it's like, how's it going to look when we actually get out there together? We don't even know yet. So but yeah, probably just end up DJing. Have to take him shopping for some clothes or something, you know, just hire a like a, what is it? Yeah, a stylist. We'll get DK a stylist. I mean, he is a stylist at his part-time also, and a brand new papa.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, so I've been busy.
Like how brand new?
Almost 3 months.
Yeah, awesome. Boy or girl?
Boy.
What's his name?
Oliver.
Great. That's a great name. You call him
Thanks.
already?
Yeah, we call him Ollie, Oliver, both.
That's awesome. That's great. Back to the question about performing. Because the album has so many features on it, how would you go about performing songs that have features? What do you do? You got to make sure that everybody's there with you, or how do you do that?
Well, I mean, like I played a couple tracks out doing solo sets, and I basically just, you've seen my show before, right? Like I do a lot of medleys. I do a lot of stuff where it's like one verse from one song, it jumps into the next thing.
Okay.
So like when for a couple of the joints, like I'll go for two verses, one verse off on the record, and then I'll put another verse that fits into the topic. So you kind of get like this, like an alternative version of the song.
Like
Or,
never been recorded, like something you're just performing only live.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Or like a Frankenstein sort of situation where it's like, oh, that verse, I recognize that verse from some other song. Now it's like being sort of blended in there, if you will, or mashed up or whatever you want, however you want to explain it.
Yeah, we have a kind of a cool idea. I'll just share just because I think it's relevant to the record. But this track, Smooth Regardless, that like just came about because Socks had a track, I think it was probably the first time you've been in the music video. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It was the first
Was
music
it?
video.
Yeah, so it was Help I Got Robbed. Was it J Brew and Jay Busy?
Brew featuring Jay Busy and
Jay
I.
Busy. Yeah.
Produced by Class. Class did the beat too.
Yeah, so you had a joint, or you had a line in there that said being broke was hard, but I was smooth regardless. So we use that for the track Smooth Regardless as inspiration. So like just an example of like something that could be done live is like he could do that verse and then could transition to that because it seems like a natural
awesome.
transition there.
Is that video online somewhere? Can I see that?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, that's awesome. So for me, the first video I think I ever saw of yours was Stolen Kick.
Oh yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Yeah.
That was before you came here, right? When like Troy, what's that crew? Backburner. So Troy from Backburner, right? Like he's the one who mentioned the spot next to my place when you guys were coming here. That's how I know you is through Troy Manning, right?
Yeah. I feel like I'd been to Japan before I met you. Was I there before I met you?
I think you were.
I think I was there one time before, and then I met you on the second time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, because my boy Yosuke, there was this whole like, was it Kansai Music Conference?
Uh-huh.
Do you know about that?
No.
That's where I met Khalif actually originally. Okay. Remember Khalif?
I met Khalif when you came.
Yeah, on that last time. Yeah. So that first time, my boy Yosuke Otani, he was setting some stuff out there, and then I met Khalif, and then the second time I met you out there. Yeah, etc.
Yeah, that was cool. Like that
video, was cool.
Like Troy introducing me, like led me to dig into like who's this Ghettosocks dude? Like what's this? I'm like, what the fuck's nerdcore? Like I never even. You're like but you're not even really nerdy. So it's like, anyway, cool video.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Guys, if you have anything else you want to say about the album, anything you want to tell people who might not know anything about you or the album, now's your chance.
Hopefully get back out to Japan, and rock some more shows and eat some food out there, there's a lot of food out there to be eaten.
Plenty of food.
I gotta get some sweat out, so I guess that can happen also. Come down by come around September, October, and get the sweats out.
October's not as sweaty, but it's probably more pleasant to come. You don't want to be sweaty the whole time.
Yeah. I feel like in October I was there and I'm just like sweating. I was sweating my ass off, and then I look over. I'm like, it is fucking hot. And then there'd be like a businessman on his suit, and I'd just be shorts, t-shirt, just dripping, and this guy just wearing a suit. And I'm just like, how is this guy surviving? It's like,
Hopefully you guys can come. Hopefully DK can get out here, and it'd be cool to get more people to see your stuff live too, because you're fun to see live. I like you. You're entertaining. Pour water on your face and shit. I thought that was cool.
I know how to get them going, man. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, fucking right.
So how about you? What do you want to say? Anything else you want to tell anybody about the album, about your music in general?
Yeah, I just want to say I think it's just like one of those albums I think that will age extremely well. We have a lot of classic artists on there, and artists that, I mean, if you don't know who they are, they'll probably have a long career. Well, that's my opinion. and I stand behind it. And it's available on all streaming platforms. And if you want to get the vinyl, either through Bandcamp or through Black Buffalo Records.
Yeah, or Fat Beats got some
Fat
as
Beats.
well, and Jet Set's got some. I don't know if it's arrived in Japan yet, but they'll have them soon if they haven't arrived yet. That's
Sweet. Give me a fun fact.
DK fun fact.
Yep.
Fun fact.
Yourself.
Man, I feel like I have so many fun facts, but I don't know. I can't think of anything right off the top.
You have so many. You got to think of one. Then make
I know.
first.
Fun fact.
One fun fact.
One fun fact. It must be a fun fact.
You got a fun fact.
I do, but it's escaping me.
I had a sandwich named after me at one point. That's a fun fact.
Gone
Is
now?
that fun? Is that fun? Well, the restaurant closed. It was it was fun, and then it ended up a little tragic. But the silver lining is the sandwich lives on in the hearts of many.
Mortadella?
Oh, I wish.
What was
They did a homemade like in-house strewn bread that they baked, and then it was a grilled cheese sandwich with a cheddar, tomato, avocado grilled.
The Ghettosocks.
That was the Ghettosocks.
Oh, I know my fun fact.
All right.
Oh, there we go.
I've never actually had a Big Mac before.
Hey,
What?
me either. It's funny. I don't go to McDonald's very often. I never went when I was home in the States. But since I'm here, every now and then I'll go because it's just right there and I'm fucking hungry and I'm like, oh, it's fucking McDonald's. And I was in there literally last weekend. And I was looking at that big picture of the Big Mac on the menu, like, maybe I should try that. I had a Big Mac, but I didn't order it. So we have the same fun facts. I guess
That's fun.
double the fun.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. I think
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for having us, man.
Yeah.
And appreciate you taking the time to
yeah,
chat with us.
it's mutual.
Thanks. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for showing me your space and talking about it. I love the music, so it's cool. It's my pleasure to chat with you guys.
Yeah, man. Talk soon.
All right.
Talk soon.
Thanks so much.
Peace out.
Are you still here? Congratulations, you made it. Thanks for spending the time with us. If you're interested, I got links down there for the music. Check out, listen to the masters. Yeah.